Today's conference call and topic is I need techs. And on this, I put an exclamation point on it. All across the dealership world, I'm getting calls and seeing needs from people. And one of the biggest things on their mind, I need techs. I got to have more techs. I don't know where to get them. I'm putting an ad in the paper. I don't have the techs I need. What do we do? And really, the solution to this concern doesn't have an immediate reward and is generally not the answer that they want to hear. The solution to this problem has to involve the day-to-day operations and the compensation programs the technicians desire. We have to make it so attractive to work at your dealership that the talented technicians hear about the comments and the programs you run that make their life better and come to you. When people tell me they're working hard to find technicians, I generally hear, when I ask them, what are you doing to find these technicians, I generally hear this. Well, I ran an ad in 3 local newspapers 3 weeks ago, and I haven't had even one person with experience apply. So they've done their duty, and they've placed the ads, and no one's responded. So they just keep needing technicians and provide poor performance in the customer base, along with reducing customer satisfaction, growth, and profitability. You see, when we have a need for a technician, my definition of that would be that if a customer calls in and you tell them, I'll see you next week to solve your need, you're wrong. You need technicians because, frankly, the customer's not going to wait for a week. Generally, they'll hang up the phone and keep calling shops until they can meet their need of fixing their car. See, they depend on that car. They're using it to get to work. They can't wait for a week. I've seen dealerships that have asked their customers to wait for up to 2 weeks. And how about the used car department? Do we have 50 used cars stacked outside waiting to come in, and we think that that's okay? In the used car department, we've got these customer pay people. We've got these warranty people. They come first, so we throw all the used cars in a pile and don't get them done until the sales department is so upset they take them somewhere else or just stop doing the inspections, stop doing the repairs. And then it gets overcomplicated because if the technician has 5 more cars to get in for the day and they know it and they're way behind, are they going to take any additional time to appropriately look the car over and inform and educate the advisor of what that client needs to have that car safe, operational, and dependable? You see, it's just like a snowball going downhill. The problems multiply. We have to have enough technicians staffing to do it right. And frankly, we don't understand why the technicians wouldn't want to work for us. After all, we're almost paying $20 per flat rate hour. Now, you might be as high as $30. I don't care what that number is. Put that number in there and say, gosh, I don't understand why technicians wouldn't be lining up. We offer them a 1-week vacation after they've been here a year, and we even co-pay the medical insurance. We should have technicians lined up waiting to work for us. Unfortunately, the technicians might be getting 3 weeks of vacation that you're asking them to give up. They're already receiving copay on major medical at their current employer. Listen, the hourly rates of technicians are climbing dramatically, And what you used to be thinking was reasonable is no longer even close. Let's not forget, a typical technician will bring in almost $15,000 a month in gross profits. What's that times 12 months in a year? And let's not forget, gross profit margins on labor are generally in excess of 70%. And if yours aren't, then that's an area of opportunity for growth. We have to rethink the business model of how we compensate technicians. We must be creative and offer programs and commitments that other dealerships haven't even thought of to attract the talent we need. Recently, I wrote an article in Big Stops magazine that was published in the March-April edition of this year. In that article, I wrote a lot of creative ways to assist technicians and maximize the income for their family. When I was writing it, I had doubts that it would be well received because there are programs in there that will have additional incomes for techs. There are programs in there that will make it wonderful for technicians to do their job. We talk about support staff in different modes, in different ways, because frankly, my attitude has even changed on support staff. Used to be, I would be just rock hard solid on, you have to have a technician ratio of at least 3 techs for 1 support staff before you can have a profitable model, 3-to-1 ratio. And these times are calling for us to change our attitudes and our opinions and be creative. The business model of the past isn't going to be the business model of the future because technicians aren't coming in as rapidly as we need them. There's a shortage of talent. We have got to come together and get real. We have to be creative. And I thought that article was going to cause a lot of concern because people might say, well, you're asking us to spend money. You're asking us to look at this differently. I don't want to spend any money. Well, guess what? Do you need techs? Wouldn't you rather have the technicians, the talented technicians, hearing about your program on how you compensate them and take care of them, and coming to you asking for employment? I want to work at that shop because of what they do to take care of technicians. I really don't think there's a downside. I know that the additional income out is something, but if I have a need or a loss, I'm not having the technician staff that I should have because of my compensation. If a technician, again, is bringing in $15,000 a month in gross profits, what am I losing? What opportunities am I not generating? Are our customers' cars being brought through with the proper recommendations? Are we looking at the used cars within 2 days and getting them on the lot repaired, standing tall? You see, to me, there's nothing that beats the customer satisfaction. And the used car manager, believe it or not, is a customer. A doggone good one. Why in the world do we want 40 cars waiting to get in the shop? We must rethink the value of technicians and customer service. We can't ask them to wait a week. We can't ask them to wait 2 weeks. There is no easy answer for dealerships. We can't wiggle our nose and have the technicians we need. The very best dealerships will understand that without a commitment to change the environment, without commitment that the dealership wants to maximize the technician revenue and provide the support staff they need. That might not be 3-to-1 anymore. Why do we want a flat rate technician to go out and find a car in 6 inches of snow, shovel it out, so they can come in and begin working on flat rate? There's no easy answers in this, but for the long-term benefit of having the technician staff you need when you need them, you best be one of those dealers that's looking at the article I wrote with a creative vision, an understanding that just because that's the way we've done business the last 50 years, that's the future. There are not enough technicians to go around. My view is the very wise dealerships understand that they have to constantly be refining what they do and how they do it. I think that we'll end up with technicians getting more of a surgical approach. We'll get that approach where they are a surgeon. Do you think a surgeon would go out and process the major medical card of a patient? Would they roll the patient in? Would they go get supplies? Would they do their own anesthesiology? They're the surgeon. They do the surgical work. And that's the view of the future that I have for the way we need to treat the technician staff. Be creative. If anyone wants a copy of that article, we will provide a link to it along with, I think that's possible, isn't it, Mike? We provide a link to that article along with the call recording?
Yes.
Okay, we will provide a link to that article to everyone on this call. And my hope is that you take it in the sense that it was written. And by the way, what I thought was going to be controversial isn't. It wasn't met with the disdain and the thought of additional profits going out the tubes. It was received well. And I understand that you might read this article and say, I can't do all of this at one time. That's okay. Make it a checklist. And when someone applies, do what you can. And when someone applies, pull out a commitment from your dealership that that's the way we're going to do it. That's why you want to work here, because our dealership understands the value of your service. All right, everybody. Thank you. Have a great day, and we'll talk to you next week. Bye for now.